Long before the traveler sets foot in Natlan, the stakes are already being set. The Abyss Order advances its plan, perfecting the mysterious loom of fate. At the same time, whispers spread of the 5 sinners of Khaenri'ah and the eternal cycle of samsara, a reminder that Teyvat's history is not a straight line, but a spiral of repetition and rebirth. The traveler, too, feels the weight of this cycle. After finally reuniting with their sibling, the memory of that moment is cruelly erased, leaving only fragments and questions. With no choice but to push forward, the traveler journeys into the blazing heart of Natlan. The traveler arrives in Natlan by ship, departing from Romaritime Harbor. They are sent off by a procession of allies, Charlotte, Navia, Clorinde, and even Furina, a symbolic farewell as the traveler steps into the unknown. Upon arrival, they meet Kachina, a spirited young girl from the Children of Echoes. Kachina already bears an ancient name, Resilience, granted to her by her Wayab, the spirit companion tied to the very soul of her people. Through Kachina, the traveler begins to learn what Natlan is built upon. The tribes here do not measure worth by wealth or strength alone, but by the ancient names they inherit, legacies of those who came before. Each ancient name carries with it memory, honor, and the duty to protect Natlan's people. For the traveler who carries no such title, the concept is both alien and strangely familiar. The traveler soon discovers the pilgrimage of the Sacred Flame, a brutal trial in which those with ancient names gather to fight in honor of their clans. The strongest are given the right to face the abyss itself. The rite of resurrection is also revealed. Should a warrior fall, the Sacred Flame can return them to life, but only if their ancient name endures. If their name is lost, so too is their soul. This harsh truth soon strikes. In the midst of conflict, Kachina herself perishes, and when the rite of resurrection is performed, it fails. For the first time in centuries, a name cannot return. The Pyro Archon Mavuika, warm, motherly, but unyielding, immediately halts the pilgrimage. To her, this failure signals danger beyond tradition. To the traveler, it is personal. Kachina's loss is unacceptable. And so, they descend into the Night Kingdom, a shadowed realm beneath Natlan, to bring Kachina back from the clutches of the abyss. The traveler encounters other champions of Natlan. Warriors like Mualani, the fierce swimmer, Kinich, the radiant flame-bearer, and even an unlikely ally, Il Capitano of the Fatui. But shadows loom larger still, for within this act, truth about Mavuika begins to unravel. The traveler learns that the Archon is no ordinary god who simply endured since the cataclysm, but something more. Mavuika reveals her secret. She is not a goddess who lived uninterrupted for 500 years. Instead, she is the Pyro Archon, who chose to bind herself within the sacred flame. Through ritual, she can be reborn whenever Natlan faces ruin, a cycle of sacrifice and return. Her people thought her immortal. In truth, she is a phoenix, forever burning, forever resurrected. But this cycle has a cost. Each rebirth weakens the flame, and now, with Kachina's failed resurrection, that cycle is breaking down. Conflict erupts as Il Capitano challenges Mavuika, claiming she betrayed an ancient promise to the Fatui. The traveler stands at her side as tribal unity is tested and abyssal corruption spreads deeper into Natlan. The wars pause. The abyss is pushed back, if only temporarily. During this brief calm, the tribes focus on healing. Eonson, the child touched by fire, journeys with a caravan to the Flowerfeather clan. But peace proves fragile. Illness spreads, corruption festers, and the reminder lingers. The abyss never sleeps. The climax begins. The traveler and the united tribes march into the Night Kingdom for one final confrontation. Here, beneath the earth, where stars cannot reach, Natlan's fate will be decided. The journey unfolds across trials, subterranean ruins, where ancient stone whispers of forgotten civilizations. As the sun rises and sets, a test of will against endless abyssal tides. Journey of stars and flames, where the traveler learns the meaning of their own legacy. Where all hopes lie, the gathering of tribes, united as one flame. When all becomes a monument, the battle where lives and memories intertwine. In this crucible, the traveler at last receives their own ancient name. No longer an outsider, they are recognized as part of Natlan's story and its future. But the abyss is relentless. An abyssal dragon emerges, threatening to consume everything. The traveler fights beside Mavuika, wielding even her own weapon in a moment of desperate unity. And then, the unthinkable. Il Capitano sacrifices himself. The Fatui Harbinger, bound by duty and loyalty to ideals long buried, gives his life to buy Natlan's survival. His death defies the decree of Renova, the harbinger of death itself, leaving behind an act of willpower so strong it bends the rules of fate. Natlan is saved, but at a terrible cost. The final act brings resolution, and yet deeper mystery. The traveler aids Mavuika and the Masters of the Night Wind in patrolling against remnants of the abyss. In caves and ruins, they defend allies like Dyradith, battling abyssal creatures and even facing the iniquitous Baptist once more. Here, Dainsleif returns, reminding the traveler that the abyss remains tied to their own siblings' path. Choices emerge, to give the key of fate to another or to carry it alone. And so, Chapter 5 closes not in triumph but in reflection. Natlan stands, scarred but unbroken. Mavuika endures, reborn yet weary. The traveler departs with a name, a legacy, and heavier questions than ever before. Natlan was never just the land of fire. It was the land of memory, of sacrifice, and of rebirth. Here, the traveler learned what it means to carry a name and what it costs to protect it. But beyond Natlan, the cycle turns still. The loom of fate waits, the abyss plots, and the traveler's sibling still walks a path apart. The story is far from over.